The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
You've been knocked down and got up again. In a corner, you're surrounded, no defenders. You've hid your fury and kept it in. But it's time now, you ignite and turn to embers. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Game Week 32 deadline stream. Only 6 game weeks to go after this. Kind of looking forward to it, to be honest, the season ending, especially if I'm still in the top 1k, which I've got a bad feeling I won't be after Wildcard 32, but hopefully Bench Boost 33 will turn everything around. You're right, actually, the timer is wrong, and you know what the problem is? I'm not going to be able to fix that, so I'm just going to have to turn it off. I wonder why that's wrong. Yeah, I can't fix that. It's an hour wrong. Oh, that's because of the time change. I bet that's because of the clocks going back. Hang on. Let me just message my tech guy. Hope you got to start off with hope you're well, because I've not messaged him for a while. Just started a deadline stream and clock is an hour out. Not sure how to fix. I think it's because of clocks. Did they go back or forward? Going back. Week or two ago. No rush. No rush to fix it. I'm gonna have to turn it off though, because can't you put a 1 over the... Yeah, I guess I could. Yeah, I could do that for now. They went forward, sorry. Forward, not back. What a great start to the stream. Yes, I probably could fit a 1 there, but I would have to, annoyingly... You'd think it's not that difficult to do, but I need to just... Okay. So if I just make this a 1, but then I don't need the rest. I can do it. It's just a rubbish start to the stream where I'm stuck getting a number 1 on the screen. Oh no, where's the 1 gone? My 1's gone. Oh, there it is. Okay, you can stay there. Right. Bear with me. Hope you're all doing well. I'm just gonna kill time. My wildcard's active. I'm not gonna have Anthony Gordon, by the way. I just can't bring myself to sell him yet because I think he's gonna punish me eventually for the rest of the season. Let's see if this works. I don't know if this is gonna work, by the way. Again, you'd think it would be fairly simple, but I don't think it's gonna work how I want it to work. So there is the number. Yeah, the problem is it's not gonna be big enough, and it's not gonna... I mean, that looks a bit rubbish, right? That looks a bit rubbish. I really need to put something... But do you know what I need to do? Oh my god, this is rubbish. I need to put something behind the 1. Like a box of some kind. This is going to look even worse, though. Hang on, let me just put a purple box behind it. PNG... Yeah, that's gonna have to do. That's better than what it was before. There we go. Hang on. Great idea. But the thing is, you'll have to remind me when we get to less than an hour because I will forget. I will forget. Ah, for God's sake, I can't make it small. Okay. Right. Look at that. That's actually beautiful. Thanks. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. What's up? What is up? I feel like I should just put Gross in now because I'm not going to go with Gordon. So I'm just going to change that now because otherwise I get loads of questions about why I've not gone for why I've gone for Gordon. I think. Oh yeah, okay. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Thiago's the one I'm probably not going to. Oh, I need to change the vice captain as well. Jesus, all these things I've forgotten to do. So this is probably going to be the team. I reckon I'm going to end up on João Pedro instead of Thiago, basically. What happens when the real clock hits 0? Well, then we panic. EV or queue at the pump for 3 hours. I've actually got an EV. It's plugged in right now, ready to charge overnight on the cheap rate. Oh, the tech guys just got back to me. Right, I'm all over the. I don't know what I'm doing now. Okay. Let me get the chat up properly and let's start answering some questions. Yes, I'm wildcarding. I'm bench boosting in 33. The only thing that's going to change is probably Thiago to João Pedro. Yes, I'm going to keep Gabriel. It wouldn't be the worst thing if Gabriel picked up a tiny knock. I don't want him to have a season-ending injury. If he had a tiny knock for game week 33, wouldn't be the worst thing because then I'd sell him to James Hill and go for 13 double game weeks. Okay, it might be fixed. Boom, it's fixed. What a legend. There you go. There you go. Whew, panic over. Panic over. Just go and watch someone else, honestly. I don't know what I'm doing today. Who in for Vert / Ekatike given slots? Comment. Wildcard 35. I'd probably go for a Man United midfielder and change Verts, although I think Verts will start. I mean, Ekatike will probably start as well. I guess. Well, actually, do you know what? I'd probably go Ekatike to Bowen and keep Verts, or Ekatike to Thiago. Sart on Wildcard 32. Good fixture in 32 and 33 for bench boost. No, I'd probably get him later on for the double. He's not bad, but I probably wouldn't go for him now. Can you go through why Gross over Matoma? Gross has been pretty much nailed the whole time he's been back at Brighton. I also think Matoma's probably nailed, but I'm a little bit less sure. Like, I think he'll start at least 6 of the next 7. Does he start all 7? I don't know. Probably. And also, I think there's an outside chance Gross might take a penalty at some point, although I suspect Welbeck is ahead of him. Gross does have a better record, though. Gross might get the odd DEFCON, although he's not like an Elliot Anderson, nowhere near. That's about it, really. I'm more confident that Gross will start both games in the double than Matoma. I think that's the be-all and end-all with it. Honestly, it's a pretty close call. If you want to punt Matoma, go for it. Why not Hinchelwood instead of Gross? I'm not fully convinced he's going to keep playing number 10 forever. Although I will say I'm not as clued up on Brighton as Brighton fans, of course. So maybe I'm wrong on that. But I don't know if anyone could 100% guarantee that's where he's going to keep playing. But maybe he does. If you're on wildcard with 5 free transfers, would you have a 1 week punt? Yeah, of course. You got 5 free transfers. Or just keep 5 transfers just in case, or to transfer out Gabriel. If I had, honestly, I don't know why everyone is stressing with 5 free transfers about taking a punt. Come on, there's only 7 game weeks left, for Christ's sake. 100%, if I had 5 transfers, I'd be doing Thiago or Bowen to João Pedro. Maybe even both. If I was dead set on keeping Gabriel for 33, maybe I'd go Thiago, if I could afford it, actually. I probably couldn't. Thiago and Bowen, then Calvert-Lewin and João Pedro next week. What if wildcard 32, triple captain 33 for the double and free hit 34? Yeah, that can work. 100%. Although, I wouldn't do that, I don't think. Unless your game week 32 team was bad. I would wildcard 33, free hit 34, triple captain 36, I think. Start João Pedro or Calvert-Lewin. Probably Calvert-Lewin. Do you think Goodmanson is fine for 33? I suspect he probably will be, but I'm not going to bother taking the risk. Also, Petrovic and Welbeck or Calvert-Lewin and Verbruggen. I think Calvert-Lewin's more likely to start both games in the double. I mean, Welbeck might start both, but my preference is the Calvert-Lewin route. Best defender for 32 and 34 only. Yeah, Arsenal then Van Dijk, I would say. But you can't go Timber and Saliba's a bit boring, so maybe Van Dijk. Yeah, Sunderland, West Ham. I mean, West Ham have got Everton at home and... No, sorry, Wolves at home, then Everton at home. Is it in 34? But yeah, Van Dijk's pretty good, I would say. One free transfer. Roll, play Ekitike and WIL. Who's WIL? Will. Or Will to Cunha. Oh, Wilson. Play Ekitike and Cunha. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Okay, one free transfer. Roll and play Ekitike and Wilson. Wilson to Cunha. Play Ekitike and Cunha. Give to Bowen / Welbeck. Play Ekitike, Bowen / Welbeck who? Or Ekitike to Bowen, Welbeck. Play Wilson and... Oh my God. I'm sure there's a simpler way to word this. So you've got Ekitike and Wilson, and you can spend one transfer and you can get Cunha. I'm going to say Bowen over Welbeck. I don't see why you would do Ekitike to Bowen instead of Guiu to Bowen, unless I'm missing something. So I would say Guiu to Bowen and bench Wilson and hope that Ekitike starts. Krupi / Thiago to Welbeck. Bench boost 33, free hit 34. No. Well, Krupi maybe if you need a player this week. Otherwise, I would roll and decide next week. I would definitely wouldn't sell Thiago this week. No bench boost. Wildcard active 32, free hit 33. Why are you wildcarding this week? Midfielder needed for 32 and 34 with 5.5 million. Thinking over some, I wouldn't risk Somerville. 5.5. Yeah, Fernandez. Elliot Anderson? Is Elliot Anderson better than Fernandez? Let me see. Villa at home, Sunderland away. I think I would go Elliot Anderson. He's not more than 5.5 now, is he? No, he's 5.5 dead on. There's probably someone else I'm missing, but that's my gut instinct. Senesi and Scott or Hillen's having here, I think, yeah. Pretty clear, to be honest. Oh, by the way, for anyone that can't afford Senesi, I think Hill is absolutely fine. I can afford Senesi, and I'm still slightly tempted to go for Hill, unless just in case I need money later for something. The thing is, I've had Senesi since Wildcard 4. He's the only player on this Wildcard team that was also in my... Oh, no, I guess Fernandez was in my Wildcard 4 team as well, but I sold him since, then got him back. Why not get João Pedro now and save a transfer? Yeah, I probably will. The thing is, this is where you've got to like strike the balance with transfers, right? Of course, it's always nice to have transfers in hand, and I will probably want at least 2, maybe even 3 Crystal Palace players for game week 36, if that's where they double. So that's potentially 3 transfers straight off the bat. So it is nice to have transfers in hand. I might want more Arsenal later, etc. But there's not actually that many interesting things to do with your transfers outside of Palace and Arsenal players later on. And I've already got Gabriel. I don't see me going triple Arsenal. Unless I'm 100% confident who's going to start the Burnley game in 37. Yeah. So, yes, transfers are important, but I don't think it's the be-all and end-all to have like 4 or 5 by the time you get to game week 36 or anything like that. Justin instead of Strauch to save money. I think Strauch is just nailed and Justin isn't once they start getting everyone back. So I just wouldn't bother taking the risk. I stuck with Cucurella. That was also your gut feeling for the first draft. What's your take? I think it's fine. A few Chelsea fans did say to me they could see like Hato start in one game at some point. I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen in the Premier League, to be honest. I just don't think Chelsea defence is very good. And also for this draft, it would mean dropping Gabriel. I don't want to do that now. So he's fine, but I'm not going to go for him. Anch, 8 months. Don't trust Palmer or Gordon. I'm really not sure what you're on, by the way. I've seen you in Discord saying about Palmer. Just get him. Should I just stick with Chippy Chips? I'm not sure what that means. Palmer and Gordon are both good. Feel like I can't go Gross over Mintier. Any reason why you haven't gone Mintier? I just don't trust his minutes. Like, Mitoma's back now. They've got Gomez as well, right? Trust Welbeck and better fixtures. Minutes, though. The fixtures... I mean, when you say better fixtures, you're really talking about this week. Because Calvert-Lewin's double is better than Brighton's. And he's got Burnley at home in 35. So, I'm not so sure about that. Oh, I need to change the music. Still listening to Phoenix. I'm going to put on 90s, not my playlist. Or is it? No, not my playlist. 90s Club Classic and Old School Dance. Are all the upcoming fixtures set in stone now? No. We've still got Man City and Palace to be rearranged somewhere. Bench 1, Calvert-Lewin, Wilson, Sarr. Wilson? I don't think it's that big a headache, really. Chow, Mukiele, Wilson, Dango. Oh, bench 1. I would definitely play Dango and probably Mukiele, Chow. I'd probably bench... Wait, who's Mukiele got? Let me just double check. Sunderland, where art thou? Spurs at home. Great fixture. It's Wilson or Chow. I'd probably just bench Chow. Which Chelsea defender? Cucurella if I had to buy one. Any thoughts on Munoz instead of a double game week? I mean, it saves you a transfer later on because of game week 36 probably going to be a double, but I probably would just get the doublers and take the points now and just get Munoz later on. If you plan on benching Biol this week, is he still worth going for a wild card? Look, Biol, is that how you say it? Goodmanson, they should be back for 33. I think that's quite likely, but I would just get Strauch unless you're looking to double up. I'm on wildcard 32 and have your team. I've got 3 free transfers. I'm very tempted to go Cucurella Hill over Gabriel purely because having 2 single game weeks when wildcarding for bench doesn't feel right. I think it's fine, yeah. I mean, you could start with Gabriel on 3 free transfers and sell him next week to Hill. That'd be quite nice. Really don't hate it. Look, Gabriel is just a really good pick outside of 33. So it's hard to completely let him go. And if Arsenal have still got stuff to play for later on, there's some really nice fixtures 35 to 38. And obviously he makes your 32 team better as well. But it does suck that you probably now need the Arsenal clean sheet to go if you've only got 1 player or 1 defender. Have a total of 6 free transfers for game week 33. Impossible. Unless you mean, yeah, I guess maybe mean 1 this week, 5 left. All chips left. I've got 5 players that have a double in 33. Do you think to make all the transfers and use bench boost? Okay, we just deleted that message. I can't even see it now. On wildcard for bench boost 33, would you do Calvert-Lewin and Gross or Welbeck and Neto? Answers on screen. Answers on screen. So yeah, I mean, if you ask me a question and one of the options is the one that I'm going for, then I'm going to go for that one. Worth finding the money for Enzo in for Tavernier / Gross if you think Enzo will come straight back into the team. Enzo's probably better than Gross, yeah. I'm not so sure he's better than Tavernier. So potentially, yeah. Don't hate that. Maybe even do Bruno Fernandes to Enzo Fernandes next week. Palmer and Welbeck or João Pedro and Gordon. I think that's Palmer and Welbeck fairly clearly as well. Are we not concerned that we have players playing against each other? I mean, that's how you get double game weeks. They don't happen otherwise. What's the free hit 34 team value? Any risk of price changes? As in, will you not be able to afford the free hit team? It depends what it is, right? You'll probably be fine because I doubt people are going to want Salah and Saka, etc. Have a total of 6 free Okay. Have 5 players that have a double in 33. Do you think to make all transfers and use bench boost with Bruno, Gabriel, and Anderson in the squad? I honestly, if you've got 5, you said 6 free transfers. I'm assuming it's 5. I don't get why you would blow them all and not just use your wild card. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Surely it's better to save the transfers for later on. If I bench boost next week, can I still make a transfer? Yes. Play my wild card. Start Senesi or Strauch. I think Senesi because you're probably captaining Bruno. Are we overreacting to Haaland's performance versus Liverpool? His FPL form has been terrible. He's got a double next week. That's about all there is to it. Bowen and Sarr in for Krupi and Rodgers. I mean, sounds pretty good. Although Rodgers is not terrible this week, to be honest. I would probably do the Bowen move. I'm less sure about Rodgers to Sarr. It doesn't necessarily feel like it's worth a free transfer. Game week 32 and 34. Enzo to Cunha or Anderson to a second Arsenal defender. Probably Enzo to Cunha, to be honest. Seems a bit more exciting to me. Ever experienced wildcard pending on my team page when I've activated the wildcard? I think you have to hit play, then it says it's pending, then you have to make transfers for it to be active. Why no Bowen on your wildcard? Okay, so I think you could argue that Bowen is maybe better than Thiago this week, although I don't think it's a huge difference, to be honest. But Bowen's definitely worse in 33. So let's say, for example, right, you're going for a single game week punt in 32 before selling to João Pedro in 33. You could argue that Bowen's the better one game week punt. But what if you get stuck and João Pedro gets injured or something? Would you rather have Thiago or Bowen next week? I know these things are unlikely to happen, but it's definitely something to consider. So I don't think Bowen's miles better than Thiago this week, and Thiago's definitely better than Bowen next week. So I think I'd just about prefer Thiago just in case. But I mean, that is a very cautious approach. I will say the big thing going for Bowen, and this is definitely worth considering, he plays tonight. So you get some what am I trying to say? You get some Friday night action. But I'm not even convinced Bowen is better than Thiago this week, to be honest. Is it worth taking a hit for 2 single game week punts for this week, like Bowen, Gyökeres, and an Arsenal defender / Van Dijk? Which Arsenal defender if it's my second? Yeah, you've probably got to go Saliba, I think, for safety. Yes, it's worth doing it, especially if you've got high transfers. It's probably less viable if you've only got like 1 or 2. I know it looks worse this game week, but is it not better with 2 attackers rather than 2 from defence in Brighton? Yeah, but the problem is there's always a knock-on effect, right? So let's say I go for Welbeck instead of Calvert-Lewin. Who do I switch Van Heck to? Or Verbruggen? Can you talk over all the options you may swap to? Not really. Who knows what might happen in an hour and 30 minutes time? Thiago to João Pedro is probably the only one I'll do, to be honest. Mitoma or Gross in wildcard team? Answers on your screen. Oh, I know you have chosen Gross, but Mitoma's numbers look better when he actually plays 90. They're only slightly better, though. Not by a mile. So, basically, if you're confident in Mitoma's minutes, you should probably pick Mitoma. That's my takeaway. Justin is a good pick if I don't have enough money. Not really, because he's not nailed, I don't think. Wildcard 32, 4 transfers in the bank. Have Gomez suspension risk. Yeah, Gomez is nowhere near good enough to take that risk. Gabriel Bruno, considering doing Bowen to Calvert-Lewin, Brobby to João Pedro, Wilson to Palmer next week. What? You're wildcarding this week. Why would you have Wilson and not just get Palmer now, unless I'm missing something? That makes no sense whatsoever. Brobby, Brobby is better than João Pedro this week. I don't think that's worth a transfer. Bowen, sure. Gomez is just madness. Because if he picks up a suspension, even with 4 free transfers, it's just not worth the risk. Like, Gomez is not that good, in my opinion. Is Welbeck a better option than Calvert-Lewin? I'm going to go for Calvert-Lewin. Welbeck's good. I just don't think he'll necessarily start both games in the double. Thoughts on 3 single game weekers on wildcard? I mean, I've got 2, so it's just 1 more. So, yeah, if you prefer them over the double, it's fine. I've got 3, but I probably won't have Thiago by the deadline. Yeah, I want to be absolutely sure I definitely want to sell Thiago because I've got a little bit of value tied up in him. Thoughts on Hill instead of Senesi to free up money for moves later on? I think it's absolutely fine to do that. Like, more than fine. Why no Hill? I've just gone Senesi instead. If I had 1 free transfer this week in wildcard, do I have 1 or 2 next week? 1. I can't afford Gross in the wildcard. Is Ampadu a good pick instead? I've not really looked. I'll be honest. I've not really looked into Ampadu at all. Like, to the point I'm not even sure how much it is. He is 4.9. I mean, Hinshelwood's 5.1. My guess is that Ampadu has basically no attacking threat whatsoever, but maybe is a good DEFCON guy. I'm really just not sure though. Let's have a look. Yeah, very basic attacking threat. Pretty good for DEFCONs. Yeah, I mean, he seems nailed. If you want a DEFCON guy, seems okay. The thing is, if you're switching Brighton to Leeds midfielder, that means you don't have a third Brighton, and Brighton do seem quite good. But sure, I think it's fine. Any reason behind picking single game week? So here's the thing, right, with single game weekers on the wildcard. This is what I've been telling myself recently. I feel like I've missed this all week until the last couple of days. If I don't bench boost this week, I'm going to be bench boosting with single game week players, and they're going to be worse than the single game week players I have next week. I mean, okay, Gabriel's not great because it's City, but Fernandes is pretty good, right? And I definitely need Fernandes this week for captaincy. Thiago's probably not going to be that. Thiago will probably be João Pedro, so it's just Fernandes and Gabriel. I could sell Gabriel next week if I wanted to. Essentially, I think most people are kind of okay with having Fernandes, right? Continuing on the last question, Verbruggen to Dubravka and Calvert-Lewin to Welbeck. Yeah, just no. I don't think... I mean, Welbeck's pretty good. I don't know if he's that good. I'd rather just have Verbruggen. 0.9 million short of your same wildcard, and I don't really want to sell Gabriel. What's my options? Senesi to Hill? Maybe. Wildcard active. I don't have funds to have Bruno and Palmer. I only have one free transfers to do Bruno to Palmer, and I have Aronson. But everything is pretty much similar to yours. Anyone better than him? Like, Palmer for me is like... I don't want to use the word essential. But how bad is your team value to not like? You don't want to sell Gabriel. Okay, put it this way. Oh wait, you haven't even mentioned Gabriel. Maybe that was someone else. I would really want Palmer. I don't know where all your money's tied up. Anyone better than Palmer? Not. Oh, I have Aronson. Sorry, but everything's pretty similar to you. Again, I don't know how much Aronson is. The thing is Aronson completely nailed? I really should have maybe looked at Leeds players a bit more. 5.4 million. Yeah, his minutes don't look great to me. I mean, arguably, Ampadu might be a better pick for Defcons. Or try and get Gross from Brighton if you've got a spare Brighton pick. Because he's only 5.5, so he's only 0.1 million more than Aronson. Wilson or Richarlison? Herbert Fountain or Dib probably. Wilson or Richarlison? I mean, Wilson probably. New member, I cannot read that username, I'm afraid. I have 4 chips left. 1 player doubling in my current 11 and 2 free transfers. What chip strategy? Wildcard 32, bench boost 33, free hit 34, triple captain 36, probably. 1 free transfer and an okay team for 32, but 99% still going to wildcard. Want to deal with the chips ASAP for overthinking purposes. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, it's fine. That's what a lot of people are doing. Have no City players, only Gabriel, wildcard 35 better. No. I mean, it depends. Have you got a bench boost to play? If not, then yeah, maybe you could delay the wildcard. Yeah, free hit 33 is fine if it works better for your team. Currently on free hit 33, wildcard 35, bench boost 36. A couple of people in my mini league above me have no free hit and 1 no wildcard. Reckon that would make you change to wildcard 32? No, I would just do whatever's best for your team. Because if they haven't got those chips, they're not going to miraculously get one, right? So it doesn't really matter whether you do it now or 35. I mean, for what it's worth, I do prefer wildcard in this week to bench boost next week rather than wildcard 35. But if you don't want to do it, it's fine. Personally, I'd love content from you just talking about the Premier League and football in general, maybe during breaks or empty weeks. Have you ever considered it? Yes, but I've never been able to keep doing it, really. I mean, as people will know who have followed me for a while, I often start making a bit of football content right before Euros or World Cup just to give me an excuse to talk about England. But as soon as the tournament starts and I'm off watching games and like maybe travelling back to England for the odd game and stuff like that, I can just never be bothered to record then. I mean, I do have a camera I can take with me and I could take my laptop to do it. But I don't know if I'm that interested in doing it, really. I don't know. I find it really tough when I do FPL to do anything else unless I can fully commit and do it on a regular schedule. Because unless you do stuff regularly, it just doesn't take off. So probably not going to happen anytime soon. Although, who knows? Maybe you'll get an England video or two if I'm really bored. I'm free hit 33. Got João Pedro, Thiago, and Ekitike with 2 free transfers. Should I swap out João Pedro for Bowen? I'd rather do Ekitike to Bowen. Now, I know Ekitike's got a better fixture, but I think he's less likely to play as good minutes as João Pedro. What do you think of Munoz or maybe even Mateta over Sarr in 36 to cover the double? I mean, Mateta's a talking point in game week 36, really. How are the minutes between him and Strand Larson, etc.? I suspect Sarr will be a pretty good pick either way. And Munoz is good too. I mean, why not have all three? If not Van Heck, which double game week defender to start game week 32? Well, what's the option? Like, which other double game weeks do you have? Probably Bournemouth one. I think wildcard 32, bench boost 33 is best. As free hit 33, 34 looks nice. Taking it on tough with free hit 33, wildcard 35 just for the drama. Chow out for the next 3 for West Ham defender. I mean, I'd probably just keep Chow, to be honest. Doesn't feel like a great transfer to move to West Ham. It's fine, but I would just keep Chow. Your thoughts on Hinchelwood over Gross? Again, if you're a Brighton fan, let me know in the comments or in the chat. Is Hinchelwood nailed to play number 10 every single week? Because if he is, then yeah, maybe. But otherwise, I think I quite like Gross, to be honest. Hinchelwood's attacking numbers are not actually that bad. And his goal threat's... Oh, hang on. I'm looking at the wrong numbers. Yeah. He's got slightly more goal threat than Gross. No chance of DEFCONs, though. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with Gross, to be honest. Maybe higher chance of a penalty as well, maybe. Vabhav, 19 months. Bowen or Thiago? Bowen, 1 week only. Thiago, if there's a chance you might keep him next week. What's the main advantage to not wildcard this week? You don't have a bench boost to play next week. Your team looks great for this week and you're really well set up for next week already. Does wildcarding use a transfer? It doesn't use one, but you don't gain one. So if you've got 2 going into this week and you wildcard, you'll have 2 next week, basically. Why don't you just do Thiago to João Pedro now instead of the last 5? I don't know. No, I'm gonna. Do you know what? I'm not even gonna wait till the last 5 minutes. I'm gonna wait till the last minute to do it. I'm gonna wait till the last 30 seconds to do it. Why not get Hill instead of Leeds defence? Because I think you stumped me for a second there. I wasn't quite sure. I had to think about why. I think the double's quite close, I think, between Bournemouth and Leeds. But I think the double is better for Leeds, just about. And they've also got Burnley at home in 35. So I think I prefer Strauch over Hill, basically. 14 of our players are the same. I'd say the wildcard template will be the most similar template ever. I wouldn't necessarily say ever, but yeah. I mean, you've only got a certain amount of teams to choose from, and most of those teams don't have a huge amount of multiple options. And it's like people that have, keep asking me about Welbeck. That's fine, but as soon as you have to then get rid of Gross, so let's say I do Calvert-Lewin to Welbeck. I don't really want to do Gross to a Leeds midfielder. So do I go Alex Scott? I don't really want Alex Scott. I don't think he's a bad pick, but I don't really want him. Or do I go Van Heck to a Leeds defender and do... like another Leeds defender, basically. But then I've got to start Bournemouth or Leeds defender this week. So, yeah, it just is what it is. I mean, had Arsenal beaten Southampton, would the teams be a little bit more different? Possibly. What about Verbruggen to a Chelsea keeper? I just don't trust Sanchez. I know Jorgensen's out at the moment, but I don't think he's out for the season. FPL have just got 25% chance of playing. Does anyone know how long he's out for? Basically, I just don't know if Sanchez is going to play every game remaining. He's already been swapped once, so why not again? What rank would you need to be going into Game Week 38 deadline stream to wear the suit? The problem is my suit's a bit big for me now, so it looks a bit rubbish, and I'm not going to buy another suit just for the stream. So I don't know if I do need to get a new suit for this summer because I've got a wedding to attend, but I ain't buying it for like another 2 months, probably. Month and a half, 2 months. Why Calvert-Lewin and not Welbeck? I just, to be honest, I quite like Verbruggen, Van Heck and Gross. And also I think Calvert-Lewin is going to start both games in the double. I'm less sure about Welbeck. Nobody even considering Dubravka. I mean, as long as Darlow keeps his place, I think he's better. Like, honestly, if you want to go for picks like Ampadu and Hinchelwood, go for it. Like, if you're confident in them, that's fine. Like, it's not. Trust me, I'm not sat here thinking Gross is the best pick ever in FPL. He could end up being terrible. I'm free hit 33, no wildcard left. I don't know what to do with my transfers. Thinking about transferring out Wilson or Dango, but not sure who to get. Well, I wouldn't transfer out Dango. Got only 0.3 million. Should I do a goalkeeper transfer? Nah, I wouldn't use a transfer to replace Sanchez. I mean, you could do Wilson, but with no wildcard left, I'd be tempted to hold my transfers more so than normal. And also, Wilson's not bad in 34, so I'd probably roll. Van der Ven or Mukiele. Mukiele this week. For a Leeds defender, Bogle or Strauch. Is Bogle not a doubt as well? I've forgotten which Leeds defenders are doubt. I feel like they're just all doubts this week, apart from Strauch. Okay, maybe Bogle's fine. It's BL Gudmundsson. The thing is Bogle 100% nailed? I know I've said this about every Leeds player I've been asked about. Now, he probably is nailed for this week, right? Because of all the injuries. Has he played every game? He didn't start in game week 30. I think he's mostly nailed. The thing is, when they get their centre-backs back, could Justin play instead of Bogle? Is that a thing? Leeds order for me, BO, Justin, Strauch. I don't think you can go Justin, though. He's not nailed, right? I'm not sure Justin is completely nailed. I think it's got to be Strauch. Unless you're willing to risk like Gudmundsson that he plays next week. So Strauch, basically. And goalkeeper, Verbruggen and Petrovic with only one defender option from Bournemouth, or Verbruggen and Darlow with no Leeds defender. I would get Darlow because I think Bournemouth defence is good for Defcons, like Hill, Senesi. You have to use free transfer. Best players to buy, no wildcard and free hit 33. Probably a Man United midfielder, maybe. So like Cunha or Mbermo. I think I prefer Mbermo just about. Yeah. It depends, though. When you say best players, what, for the rest of the season? For this week only? For this week in 34? I mean, I'm not sure there is a best pick for the rest of the season, to be honest. But if you're free hit 33 and you want a player for either side in Mbermo, start João Pedro or Rodgers. Probably João Pedro. Why no João Pedro? Again, I will probably have João Pedro by the end of the stream. Wildcard 32, Van Heck or Senesi. Probably Van Heck, just because you want to play him this week. Gross or Hinchwood, again, answers on the screen for that one. Is Neto a good pick? I don't know. There's something about Neto I can never quite get behind. Also, let me just double check him a sec here. Yeah, I just don't think he's completely nailed. So I think he'd just be a headache. I think he'll start the majority, but it's not enough. Thoughts on roll 32, free hit 33, wildcard 34, and bench boost next double game week? I would probably rather wildcard 35 than 34, but I suspect 34 is doable. The problem is you will want some of the players that are blanking. Like, you'll want 3-Man City for 36, so you'd have to have all them on your bench. So any other players that are blanking that week, you probably won't be able to buy. So it can work. I've not looked at wildcard 34 a lot. It can work, but it's not amazing, I would say. Mitoma over Grosh, yes, if you trust his minutes. Esteval, Enzo, bench 32. Don't like Tav or Aronson. I mean, I would go Enzo. There's no way you can trust Esteval's minutes. I mean, you can't fully trust Enzo, I guess, but I suspect he's going to come straight back into the team. I think Welbeck's fine if you've got a spare Brighton spot. Is there a prize for winning your mini league? Your name goes into the video description of all my videos. Otherwise, not really. I don't think I've ever really done a prize for that league. I'm guessing you're near the top, though. In which case, congratulations. Tempted to go for Hall instead of Senesi. Oh, Hill. Yeah, sure. Is that how much difference it is? Hill's 4.2, right? I can sell Senesi for 4.8. The thing is, I bought Senesi for 4.5. Oh, no, 4.6, sorry. Gay over O'Reilly. Do you know what? Usually I'd say yes, because I think Gay is like 100% nailed, but I don't think you can back against O'Reilly right now. The league winners aren't in your description anymore. Oh, did I take them all out? Did I? Oh, I might have done that, you know. I might have done that to clean it up a bit. I think it is, though. Maybe not on the stream, but maybe on the rest. I mean, I don't have a prize. No, no. Oh, no, I did take it all out. Oh, God, I apologise. Yeah, there's no prize right now. Maybe there should be. Maybe I can think of a prize. I could give you... I could get... I don't know. Something. Why Darlow over Petrovic? Well, yeah, it's a good point, actually. I could go for Petrovic. But Darlow rotates quite nicely, and he's got Bournemouth Burnley at home in 35. Is Cucurella a good pick? He's probably the best Chelsea defensive pick if you want a Chelsea defender. Is Perry not going to play for Leeds? I think Darlow's first choice right now. I will say, I cannot sit here and tell you Darlow's definitely going to start every game for the rest of the season. Surely you could arrange a free membership for the winner. You can't just give out memberships to specific people, unfortunately. A WoW token, nice 400k, yeah? I don't have free hit left, but all the rest of my chips, what should I do? Probably just try and set up as best as you can for GameWeek 33 and wildcard afterwards, but it depends. If you've got no free hit left, you basically have to wildcard after the blank. I don't think there's another choice. Sorry, you have to wildcard after the double, because if you wildcard into the double, all your players are going to blank in 34. So I think you have to wildcard 34 pretty much. Why not Gomez instead of Gross? He's on 9 yellow cards. If he gets a yellow card in game week 32, he'll miss both games in the double. Is it likely he gets a yellow card this week? Probably not. But is it worth taking the risk? Absolutely not, in my opinion. If I win the mid-league, can I get your old suit? Maybe. Your old suit could be the prize. I don't think anyone needs that. What to do with this team? Use any chips. Donnarumma, Gabriel, Adoretti, Chow, Dango, Bruno, and Burma. I mean, look, you're in a position like pretty much everyone else this week. You can wildcard if you want to bench boost next week, or you could just play through 32, free hit 33, and wildcard later. You could wildcard in 33. I would say if you're not sure, just wait till next week. But there's no set answer with that team as to what to do. You can either play it or wildcard it. That's your choices. I've just realised as well the chat has gone. I've lost it. It's not rolling for me. You're currently 76th in the world. Very nice. Taking a punt and saving my wildcard. Brought in Juve, free hit 34, wildcard 35. Nice, good luck. Justin has started the last 7 games for Leeds. Surely he should play both games in the double. Probably. But again, is it worth... The thing is, are the likes of Justin, etc., so much better than the nailed-on defender like Strout to take the risk? Actually, Petrovic is a nice shout. Yeah. I don't think he... I mean, I guess you could say that Petrovic is probably more likely to start the remaining games than Darlow. So you could definitely consider him. But in game week 35, when Verbruggen has Newcastle away, Darlow's got Burnley at home, whereas Petrovic would have Palace at home, which is not terrible, but you'd rather have the Burnley at home fixture, right? Best advice if free hit played already. Try and get as many doublers as you can for 33 and wildcard afterwards, I would say. If you haven't got wildcard or free hit, all I can say is good luck. Get prepared to take some hits, I would say. Why Gross over Welbeck? I haven't gone Gross over Welbeck, really. I've gone Calvert-Lewin over Welbeck. The thing is, it's not a straight shootout between Gross and Welbeck, is it? It's a combination. It's Calvert-Lewin and Gross versus Welbeck and maybe a Leeds defender or Scott. If you go for Hill, would you be able to upgrade Strout? To who? If you didn't wildcard, how likely would you have kept Ekitike for one more week? I probably would have risked it, I'd say. I would have done Guiu to Bowen, I think. I'd keep Thiago over João Pedro. The fixtures for João Pedro aren't great, but he's got an extra fixture next week. The thing is, you say that, but game week 34 doesn't matter to me because I'm free hitting. It's Forest at home in 35, not bad. Spurs at home 37, not bad. And Sunderland away 38, not bad for João Pedro. Whereas Thiago's got to play both Man City and Liverpool. Again, Liverpool, I get it, it's not that bad. But Man City and Liverpool both away from home, 36 to 38. For what it's worth, outside of the double, Thiago's definitely better. But I think it's justifiable to take a punt on João Pedro instead. It's so funny. A few weeks ago, João Pedro, it felt like he was essential, and now it's now you can't. Now you got to back against him. No beer at home. I'm not sure what that's in relation to be honest. I mean, there probably is beer in the house, probably somewhere. Don't you think Senesi outscores Van Heck in 33 though? Yeah, probably. Would you go Welbeck and Gabriel or Saliba, João Pedro? Probably Welbeck and Gabriel. Am I selling Gabriel in 33? Probably not. But I guess if I go for João Pedro instead of Thiago, the option is there. I might do it, but probably not. Because it's just another transfer to get him back, right? Is there any way to see how many transfers you have for the week after on FPL if you're currently wildcard active? No. Not unless you knew how many you had before you went in. 10 million, as far as I know anyway. 10 million budget for two... Actually, if you... Yeah, no, I don't know. 10 million budget for two midfielders for the double game week. 10 million? Oh my God. Find some more money, I would say. 10 million is really not a lot. How much is Scott? I bet he's 5.5, isn't he? 5. So it's probably Scott and Ampadu, something like that. We should do a poll on how many times I'm going to have to answer the Calvert-Lewin versus Welbeck thing. I feel like we've been at 45 minutes already, and I feel like I've answered it 167 times. Plus all the videos are done this week as well. Bench Cucurella or Senesi? Like Cucurella's got the better fixture slightly, but Senesi's way better for Defcons, right? So probably Senesi. Gone with Sarr instead of Gross. Nice. What do you think about Minte's minutes? Not good enough to pick him, I would say. I mean, he's played 75 in each of the last two game weeks, which is obviously positive. But I think given what happened before, where he's just suddenly out of the team and not playing that much, I just don't think it's worth the risk. What do you think of Wildcard 32, Free Hit 33? So your wildcard is for the rest of the season. I would answer it, but you spammed it in the same question, so I'm not going to bother now. Why Gross over Gomez? Gomez is on 9 yellow cards. Best keeper if you have Darlow but don't want Verbruggen. Petrovic, maybe? Why does everyone want João Pedro for Man City at home? I don't think they do. I don't think they're desperate for him because he has Man City at home this week. My team is Raya, Pickford, who to bench? 0. Okay, come on, don't send me a whole team. Who are you thinking about benching? Okay, Raya over Pickford, Gabriel. Wait, where's the rest? Oh, well, I would play Van Dijk over Gay, of course. So Gay. This is who to bench? Well, Lissandro, you definitely bench him, right? Gay and one more, so probably Iwobi, I think. I think Iwobi. I'm trying to remember which fixtures all those players have got. Viable to have 15 doublers and ignore Bruno. Yes, but I would sell Bruno next week. I wouldn't get rid of him this week. Is Palmer important for the wildcard? I think he's one of the most obvious picks on wildcard, personally. Any thoughts on Jaden Anthony or Evan Nielsen punts? I just can't get behind Burnley picks in general, apart from maybe Dubravka. I don't hate it, but probably not. Evan Nielsen, sure, if you're confident in the minutes. The minutes have looked better recently, for sure. Krupi is available, so I guess there's some You know, Evan Nielsen could get subbed early. He might not start the odd game, but I think he'll start the majority, and the fixtures are quite good, so I don't mind that one. But Jaden Anthony, no, I don't think so. If money didn't matter, would you have Enzo? I mean, I think I can afford Enzo, to be honest. Maybe instead of Gross, but again, it means playing Tavernier this week against Arsenal away, which is not great. Why Chelsea assets are so important, fixtures are not good. You don't have to have them, but they've got a double next week, right? And again, the fixtures are quite good from 35 onwards. Gabriel to Hill to be able to afford Palmer on wildcard. I'd rather have Palmer than Gabriel. So yes, don't have the money for Senesi, bin for Strauch. Yeah, or Hill. What do I think about keeping Wilson for wildcard 32? Yeah, I just don't see the point at all, to be honest. I've got 3 free transfers. Start Ekatike, move into Bowen, or save the transfer. Bench Ekatike and start Harry Wilson. I'm on wildcard 33, free hit 33. I would sell into Bowen, I think. Why not Bowen as the 1 week punt instead of Thiago? Yeah, I think he's absolutely viable. For what it's worth, I probably won't have Thiago. I'll probably just have João Pedro and probably make no transfers in 33, which is so boring. Is this where I fall back out of the top 1k and just go on a massive downward spiral, possibly? Is Strauch just a diversification move away from a full Bournemouth bench? I just think the fixtures are better in 33 and 35. I mean, it's a fair point. I could go for Hill over Strauch. But I quite like the Burnley at home fixture in 35. I don't expect to see much differences on game week 32 teams, to be honest. Not wildcard. Gabriel's just good for 32. And after 33 as well. Why not have Bowen? Yeah, again, you can have Bowen instead of Thiago. He's a good pick. What's the argument for Senesi over Hill? Better for Defcons. Only, by the way, Hill. There isn't actually that much of an argument for Senesi over Hill, but he is more Defcons per start than Hill this season. Now, I haven't checked Defcons per start when they've both played together, because that might be slightly different, but on average, Senesi's done ever so slightly better. And also, I think there's a couple of times recently where he's done better for bonus as well. And I bought him cheap as well at 4.6. Tell me if this is stupid or if it can be a good strategy. Triple captain game week 32, free hit 33, wildcard 35, bench boost 36. Yeah, I don't think it's stupid. Because Fernandes is really good. So yeah, I can't say it's stupid, but I think I would rather just go for the template strategy, to be honest. Really thought you would just save your wildcard till 35. Yeah, I ended up talking myself into a good bench boost. And also, I think, again, I've said this on so many videos this week, I think people are overemphasizing how bad Game Week 32 is. I appreciate it's not the kind of team you'd usually wildcard into, but I've got Ekatike, who's a bit risky for minutes. I had no Haaland. I had 7.4 million in the bank for my normal team. So no Haaland. I had Ekatike. I had Wilson against Liverpool away. Elliot Anderson's fine as a pick long term, but he's not amazing 1 week only. Gross is fairly nailed for me, I think. But for me to change him, I'd have to do like Calvert-Lewin to Welbeck and then Gross to someone that's not a Brighton player. I don't see me changing Gross to another Brighton player, put it that way. What do you think on wildcard this week to get Welbeck and change him to Calvert-Lewin for the next game week? No. Don't see the point in using a transfer on that. I don't even think the wildcard team looks that bad going past the free hit week. No, it's not. It's fine 35 onwards, to be honest. Do you prefer free hit 33, wildcard 35, or wildcard 30? I think I actually prefer wild. If you're bench boosting, if you still got your bench boost left, probably wildcard 33. I'd have to have a think next week, but probably wildcard 33. If you don't have your bench boost, probably wildcard 35, I think. Would you bench boost to Bravka, Mane, Van Heck, Mings? No wildcard. Probably not. But then it's going to be difficult to get to a good bench boost with no wildcard with all the doubles to manage. I'm trying to remember who who Mane's got this week. I mean, his minutes have gone down a little bit the last couple. West Ham away. Mings on a bench boost out of nowhere. I don't hate it, and I think because you got no wildcard, you're going to struggle to get good double game weeks in 33, so you probably need to concentrate your transfers on that. I don't hate it. The thing is, you've obviously got a slightly weirder team than like the template, so it's hard to know what the rest looks like and when you might have a better bench later. Don't send me your whole team. I'm not going to have enough time to look through every single week to see when you might have a better bench. But if it's not going to happen soon, then I guess you just blow the bench boost now. How good are Tavernier's minutes? Very good. I'm going Thiago over Calvert-Lewin, who has 1 return in his last 10. Nice. Also, why not Weaver over Gross? Yeah, Weaver's a good pick. He's the DEFCON guy. Gross is better attacking threat. Oh, no, not in a huge way, to be honest. Like, Weaver's not a bad pick. The problem is he's a DEFCON guy that hasn't got 90 minutes all the time in the last few game weeks. That's what worries me a bit. João Pedro Calvert-Lewin or Thiago Calvert-Lewin with 1 transfer? Probably João Pedro. Is Gabriel or Bruno a must? I think Bruno is. We'll transfer Bruno to Parma next week, but no Gabriel. The idea of getting 2 Crystal Palace players for 36 and for Aronson. Don't think the attacking option is better than Ampadu. They're not a must, but I mean, if you got Bruno this week and you're selling to Parma next week, that's fine. That's fine. Please explain the main reasons for wildcard now versus 35. Honestly, if you're really undecided, I would go and watch one of my videos talking about it. I'm not going to be able to like go through in great detail now on a deadline stream. The main reason I've done it is I want to bench boost in 33. You've wildcarded but kept Thiago and Gabriel. This is not my final team. Good game. We can generally think you can finish top 20. Nah, probably not, to be honest. Again, I don't want to sell Thiago. I'm probably not going to go for Thiago. I don't want to sell Thiago because I've got money in him. That's why I've not done it yet. But I'm probably going to switch to João Pedro. Can I put that in big? I will probably have João Pedro by deadline instead of Thiago. There you go. If I free hit next week, what strikers should I get today? Probably Bowen. Because he's got a good game week 34. Thiago or Bowen 1 week. If it's definitely 1 week, I guess Bowen. I quite like the fact that he's playing tonight. Where is... Sorry. Start 1. Anderson, Hill, or Vandenberg. I mean, it's definitely Vandenberg, right? It's no... He's got the best fixture by a mile. Am I not going Caicedo because of the yellow cards? I just don't think he's a great pick, to be honest. If you had triple captain, where would you play it? Game week 36. Am I the first to suggest Caicedo instead of Gross? Yes, sort of. Gabriel I'm probably keeping yet. I haven't got a wildcard left. Which players should I transfer in? Well, if your team looks good this week, I would just save transfers till next week and get them in. Because you want to be absolutely sure you get it right. So probably... Oh, you haven't got wildcard left. Sorry. Well, I would probably roll if you can, just free hit next week. Yeah, Caicedo is on 9 yellow, so if he picks it up this week, that's missing both games of the double. Wasn't Caicedo essential at the start of the season? He was for a few weeks, yeah. How's Justin Minutes for Leeds? A bit short on money. They should mostly be okay, but I'm not convinced they're good enough to take the risk. I have the same team as yours, but Scott over Gross and Welbeck over Calvert-Lewin. Also, only have 0.1 in the bank and will be looking to get Sarr for 36. Would you change Senesi to Hill? Yeah, if you're going to struggle for money later on, I probably would. I think Hill's just a really good pick. If anyone sat there thinking, oh, I'm a bit afraid to sell Senesi to Hill, I really wouldn't be. Silva instead of Semenyo, no chance. The attacking numbers are never good enough for Bernardo Silva. Also, I think he's on 9 yellows. Is the double game week this week or next week? Next week. Would you free hit 33 with no wild card and 4 free transfers and 4 blankers for 34? Yeah, I think so. I think I would free hit 33. Why not triple Chelsea? If so, who? Kukurea you could go for. You could go for Enzo instead of Gross and bench him for this week. I just don't think they're better picks than the ones I've got. Munoz over Gabriel? No, probably not. I mean, it's tempting, to be fair, because of the fixture in 36, but I think Gabriel's just better. Welbeck or Haaland 1 week pump before wildcard 33. Haaland. Why not Hill over Strauch? I think Leeds double was better in 33 and got a better 35 fixture as well. For what it's worth, Senesi probably will get sold for me in 36. And I probably won't play Senesi in 35, and I'll probably sell him in 36. Is it worth selling Gabriel to fund players for wildcard? It is if you're struggling, but it depends who you're selling him for. Am I holding Gabriel through 33? Probably, but can decide that next week. Yeah, like I keep saying, Justin might be absolutely fine, but I don't think you can say he's nailed. I think you can say Strauch is nailed. I don't think you can say that about Justin. So if you want to take the slight risk, go for it. Haaland has been poor overall this season. I honestly think Welbeck might be the better pick. Yeah, I honestly don't think it's even close between the two. Also, Haaland has another double later on as well. Start Tavernier or Ekitike. I think I would risk Ekitike. Sell Gabriel to free up funds to bring in Tavernier for the double. Probably yes. What's your thoughts on Senesi and Hill double up? Pretty good. Don't get Justin in. He'll be playing centre-back and Bogle starts over it. See, this is the problem, right? Like, Bogle and Goodmanson are first-choice wing-backs. So for Justin to keep playing, he's got to play in the back three. But they've got Strauch, Biol, and who's the other guy that might be back soon? Rodon is out, so that probably will help Justin. Isn't there another guy that could come back, though? Or am I wrong? Is Justin just going to play while Rodon's out? I mean, I don't know. This is what I'm saying. I don't think Justin's 100% nailed. So if you want to take the risk because you haven't got the money, that's fine. But if you have, I would just buy Strauch. Does wildcard next week use 1 free transfer? You just don't gain a transfer that week. That's all. Thiago, Welbeck, Gross, and Tavernier, or Calvert-Lewin, Pedro, Tavernier, and Scott/Gomez. I wouldn't go Gomez. Scott, maybe. Scott, Tavernier, Pedro, Calvert-Lewin, Thiago, Welbeck. Probably the Thiago one, honestly, or especially if you do Calvert-Lewin over Welbeck. Choose only one out of Palmer and João Pedro. Palmer by a country mile. Can you give me top 3 midfielders only for this week? Cunha, Mbeumo, Fernandes. Thoughts and I'm honestly saying that without, like, that's not sarcastic. I really think. I mean, you can maybe argue Palmer's better than Cunha or Mbeumo, maybe, but it is Man City at home. Yeah, I think it might be the 3 Man United midfielders. For this week only. I mean, I think Salah will play, and so if I was free hitting, I probably would go Salah over Cunha, but you just can't be as sure with him right now. Did that one. Thoughts on going Watkins over Bowen? Not that much interest, really. I mean, it's fine, but I think Bowen's 2 home games, 32-34, is quite nice. Start Chow or Alderete against Tottenham. I'm going to say Alderete. I'm on free hit 33 strategy, and I'm torn between Bowen or Watkins for Ekitike this week. Bowen, I think. I just pretty much answered the same question just a minute ago. Enzo and Anderson to Cunha and Mavropanos. I think I would go Juve. I know I don't think... Hang on, let me just check. I don't think Mavropanos is great for Defcons. Wait, what's his... Oh, I was spelling his name wrong. Oh, actually, damn. Scratch that. He's freaking great for him. He's on like 11 per start. Mavro, is he? I still think I would go Juve. I would go for the attacking threat, but he probably should be Mavropanos, yeah. Anyway, sorry, can you Mavropanos with that strategy? Yes, it's fine. Would a front three of Cavalier, Haaland and Welbeck work? Yes, I've actually considered that as well, by the way. Go for Welbeck instead of João Pedro, but João Pedro's underlying number is pretty good for the season. Strauch and Hinshelwood or Biol and Gross. Strauch and Hinshelwood, I guess. Start Bowen or one of Mbeumo, Cunha. Bowen, probably. Bowen and Mbeumo. Struggling with Haaland or Bruno as captain. Really? What's the point wildcard this week if double is next? So you can, because you can't use 2 chips in 1 week. So most people wildcarding this week are bench boosting next week. Why no Biol? He honestly for all the Leeds questions, Strauch is nailed and he's fit. That is why I'm going for him. Everyone else is either not nailed or is a doubt this week. And I just don't think any of the other options are so amazing that it's worth taking the risk. If Goodmanson was fully fit, I'd probably have him. And he probably will be fit for 33. But I'm just not taking the risk. Why is Hinshelwood not an option? He is an option. Yeah, of course. What was your main... I mean, Hinshelwood's an option. Matoma's an option. Gross is an option. But I just don't think Hinshelwood's guaranteed to keep playing number 10. I think Gross seems pretty nailed in that team. So I'm going to go Gross. What was your main reason for wild card activation this week? Bench boost next week. So you're basically getting double game week players on the bench to use in the bench boost. Is this logic? Yeah, so I'm wildcarding this week because I want to play my bench boost next week, and I can't play wildcard and bench boost the same week. Why is Minte being overlooked? Minutes, Gomez. Like honestly, I will die on this hill. There is absolutely no good reason to risk Gomez. There is not. He's not even if Gomez was on 0 yellow cards, you could not say that Gomez is miles better than all the other Brighton picks. Honestly, going for a player on 9 yellows that could miss both games in the double is just nonsense. And I know he probably won't get the yellow, and he'll probably do really well in the double, but that is not worth the risk in any way. O'Reilly or Gay, answer on the screen. And basically, because he just seems so attacking at the moment. Why have I gone for Strike over Hill? Better fixtures in 33 and 35. Gabriel or Hill on wildcard 32, bench boost 33. I'm going Gabriel, but I honestly, it's close. Who to start, Van Dijk or Tavernier? Van Dijk. I don't have the free hit left. Should I still wildcard? Probably not. The problem is, if you wildcard this week, you're going to get a bunch of players with a double next week, and they're all going to blank in 34. It depends how many double game week players you've got now. Either way, you're taking quite a few hits, I'd say. João Pedro or Calvert-Lewin for 32. I'd probably go Calvert-Lewin for the penalties. Fine to go for no Bruno after 35. Unlikely we'd captain. I haven't really thought that far ahead. 36, Haaland captain. I mean, honestly, you might captain Bruno in 37 against Forest at home. I mean, I know Arsenal have got Burnley at home, but unless there's an attacker there, you're going Gabriel over Fernandes. Arsenal might have nothing to play for in the league by then. And then game week 38 is Brighton away. So yeah, you probably go Haaland against Villa at home. I wouldn't completely rule out a few Fernandes captains. And also, he's just really good. And where, if you're not going for Bruno, where are you putting that money as well? That's the problem. Who do I get as fifth midfielder? Already have Tavernier, 3 Leeds, 3 Brighton. Is Rayan an option or Scott? Rayan's pretty good, and he started every game since that. I think he was benched in the first one. But Scott's quite nice, to be honest. Good for Defcons. Don't have wildcard. If Timber doesn't play, who should be my first bench? Elliot Anderson, Matty Cash, Harry Wilson. Probably Elliot Anderson, then Wilson, then Cash, I think. Is Palmer really worth a wildcard place? Again, Palmer's like one of the first names on the team sheet for me. I'm in zero doubts about Palmer on wildcard. I can't afford Strout, BO or Justin. I'd probably go BO and then hope he's back for 33. Or Goodmanson. Hill versus Senesi for this week. Flip a coin, honestly. Who's going to be lower owned? Hill, maybe? On free hit 33, got 2 free transfers. Bowen for Ekatike this week. Yeah, I quite like that. Which 2 of these do I start? Verts, Gordon, Ekatike. Gordon and Verts, I think. Marmouche. Nah. Strauk, Senesi, and Gross. Strauk, Senesi, and Gross Matoma will save the money. Again, if you're confident in Matoma's minutes, you should get him over Gross. Strout versus Senesi is quite close. Again, better fixtures for Leeds in 33, but probably weaker defence. Better fixture in 35. Any reason not to hit the free hit right after deadline if the plan is free hit 33? As long as you're 100% sure you're going to do it, then go for it. How come you have Thiago and over João Pedro? I've got value tied up in Thiago, so I want to be absolutely sure I'm going to sell him. I'll probably just have João Pedro. I could go Thiago and use a transfer next week, but I'll probably just have João Pedro by the deadline. Start Anderson versus Liverpool. Hope Timber starts. Definitely hope Timber starts. I think he probably start. I mean, he could be benched, but I would probably risk it. What do you think about 2 Bournemouth defenders versus Hill / Senesi and Strauk? Any reason going one over there? Yeah. Oh my god! I feel honestly, I could just do a recording of like 4 questions, I think, and just play it. I know it's the deadline stream, so I get it, right? This is how people come in; they want their question answered. I feel like it's just the same 2 questions over and over on repeat. 3 questions actually, because you got Welbeck and Calvert-Lewin as well. Anyway, I'm going to go for Strauk over Hill because the Leeds fixtures in 33 and 35. Hinchelwood over Gross, sure, but I don't think Hinchelwood is as nailed as Gross. If you don't mind me asking, why didn't you go for João Pedro and Hill instead of Strauk and Thiago? I've just answered the Strauk one, so I'm not going to answer that again. I probably will have João Pedro by the deadline. Start Njai or Dango? Njai, I think. Hurried and already took Gabriel out on wildcard. I've got Hill and Senesi. Is it worth getting Gabriel back? Honestly, I'd take him on at this point if you've lost the value already. Maybe I should just... Maybe I should not answer the Strout question anymore. be a bit of a quiet stream, though. Would you start Wilson over Rogers, Dango, Richarlison? Maybe Richarlison, but if Richarlison starts, I think he's pretty good. Would you do Petrovic and Timber to Raya and Dallo? I've got no bench boost left, so this leaves me open on what to do in 33-35. Goalkeeper transfers feel rubbish, to be honest. I mean, Timber to a defender, yeah, sure. I'd probably hold Petrovic, even though it's a rubbish fixture. I think you're all making a mistake by wildcarding this week. Yeah, probably. Why O'Reilly if you play Palmer? Because he's better than Senesi and Strauk, I think. Any reason why he did the Ekatike to Haaland move a week early? I'm on wildcard. No updates on Timber. So basically, classic Arteta. Someone mentioned that he wasn't pictured in training along with Saka, etc. And he said some things have changed since yesterday, but obviously he didn't tell you what they are. So Timber might be okay, but he might not. Any valid argument for Gay over O'Reilly? I think you could maybe argue that Gay is more nailed, but I don't think O'Reilly's that much of a problem, and he's so attacking. My throat is sore and there's still 46 minutes to go. Darlow 100% will start. I wouldn't say 100%, but he should do. Oh, okay, well, in that case, then yeah, I'd probably get Raya. But the thing is, you might free hit in 34, right? That's why I was thinking maybe keep Petrovic. But yeah, if you're going to have to make a transfer, then get Raya. Ekatike, yeah, keeping Gabriel, yeah. I think you asked that earlier. Ekatike to Haaland and Palmer to Cunha. Gets me 11 players to 34. Free hit 33, wildcard 35, triple captain. We'll be left with bench boost for either week. I mean, sure, if you can make the bench boost work, sure. Okay, this is not a good sign. I need to not be talking. That's quite difficult on a deadline stream. Would you swap maybe it's... do you know what? I wonder... I haven't recorded that much today. Only that quick wildcard video earlier. Do you reckon... Are your vocal cords like a muscle where you've got to keep using them? Is my voice not used to speaking for this long? Because I guess I've done videos all week, but I haven't streamed for a while. Is that why? Or have I just not drank enough water today? What's the problem? Why no Matoma? Because I'm just going for Gross instead, basically. I just trust Gross minutes more. Maybe a penalty as well. Would you swap Wirtz or Gordon for Mbermo for 32 and 34? I wouldn't swap Gordon this week, to be honest. I'd maybe wait till 34 and see how you feel. I prefer Mbermo to Wirtz, but I'd probably just keep Wirtz for now. Best time to use triple captain? Probably 36. Think you're ill? No, I'm definitely not ill. I don't feel ill anyway. The thing is, I've drank quite a lot of water today, so... Anyway. Please tell me Leeds will survive the injuries and stay in the Premier League. Maybe. They have got quite a few injuries, but most of them should be back by 33, I would say. So I don't... Apart from Roden and Stack, which are quite big misses, I know, but... I think you'll be okay. Would you rather win FPL next season? Oh, God. I'm not answering those questions. People are always asking them. I would rather win FPL. There you go. The Man United win a quadruple. Clip that up. Rile people up. My draft includes Hill instead of Gabriel, Matoma instead of Gross, João Pedro instead of Thiago. I have 2 free transfers in 33. Would have gone Bowen otherwise. Thoughts? Perfect. Why not? Hinchelwood has a birthday tomorrow. Birthday goal? Possibly, yeah. Who instead of Gabriel? If I was going to go without Gabriel, I would just get Hill. On wildcard with 4 non-double game week players. Lacroix, Bruno, Ekatike, and Thiago. 2 free transfers. There's no way I would wildcard with Ekatike. I would just get João Pedro now. And I wouldn't bother with Lacroix for 1 week. I would just get another double game week now, to be honest. Save the moves. Yeah, Knicks. Instead of Gabriel, I would just get Hill. Timber to start. Don't know. Wildcard decision relies on it. Yeah, we just have no info, to be honest. Why Thiago over João Pedro? I'll probably have João Pedro by the deadline. On wildcard, I've got Verbruggen and Raya. I have value with Raya, and I will want after free hit. Should I keep... I would... The thing is, your free hit... So, basically... I mean, I guess it's similar conversation to Gabriel. So, it's viable to go for Raya. But it's just less interesting because he's not got goal threat and stuff like that. So, I would probably just get a double game week goalkeeper instead, personally. Is delaying wildcard bench boost to 35-36 now a differential? Yeah, probably. Yeah. On free hit 33, no wildcard. Bring in Sarr early for Enzo or roll. I mean, if you need a player this week, yeah, I would probably do it. Sarr's a pretty good pick on free hit 33. Keep Gabriel for week 34. Gordon to Palmer. I don't think you need to do Gordon to Palmer this week. Keep Gabriel, sure. What am I doing with Bruno next week? Bench boosting him. I can't afford Senesi. Is Hill okay? 100%. Is Bruno triple captain a good shout? It's probably one of the better single game weeks left, but I would just save it for a double personally. Right, okay. There's lots of questions about why no Minte. Did he score recently? He must have scored recently. Okay, scored in game week 30. Because I mean, this is a guy that it's like until the last 2 game weeks hasn't been starting. I don't get why so many people are interested in him. If I'm honest, why is there all the interest in Minte? I know he's got a double, but am I missing something? He's even below Caicedo for points this season. I mean, he's probably going to smash it now. He's probably going to absolutely smash it. Every time I get super confused by someone's considering a certain player, they always go on and do really well. Can you gain much ground if everyone has this wildcard team? Maybe, maybe not. The thing is, what do you do? Do you massively differentiate and go for players that you don't believe are good? That's probably not a great strategy either, right? I mean, honestly, as someone that's in the top 1k, hopefully there is no ground to be made up outside of this wildcard team. But I doubt, like, someone will do really well without this wildcard team, guaranteed. A bit far away, but if I sell Bruno to Enzo, I'll only have 2 Palace players for the double without a hit. I'd rather keep Bruno, I think, and get 3 Palace. Enzo's fine for the double, but I don't see me buying him, to be honest. Can you suggest me a 6.6 million midfielder for the wildcards? Have an ear? Minte was diabolical for me when I had him. Never played and I lost about 0.5. Yeah, that's why I'm so surprised. Now, he might go on and play lots of minutes, but he also just might not. I don't think every player in the top 1,000 is wildcard this week. Yeah, 100% they won't be. He gets lots of assists. Who, Minte? His last assist was in game week 19. Cheap nailed Arsenal defender. No such thing exists, really. I mean, it's Gabriel or Saliba, basically. Sanchez to Verbruggen. I prefer Verbruggen, yeah. Have free hit and triple captain left. Which one? Double game week 33. It's probably free hit, right? How are you getting to João Pedro? I'm just going to transfer Thiago to him. I am looking to move Ekitike to Haaland and then would have your same front three. I'm struggling with letting go of Calvert-Lewin or Thiago. I own Thiago at 6.6. Yeah, Thiago's a good pick, but I'm going to move into João Pedro. Why no Esteval? Doesn't play enough minutes. If you free hit 33, would you bench boost 35 or 36 with 5 free transfers, no wildcard? I mean, you'll have to go and have a look at how easy it is to get to a good bench for either of those weeks with your team and 5 free transfers. I can't say anything else than that. But I would try, like, if it's close between the 2 weeks, I would use it sooner. Saliba, a good pick. He's fine, but if you're wildcarding, I wouldn't pick him. Only got the 1 free transfer, and the team's looking pretty decent for game week 32. So I'm thinking free hitting 33 and wildcard 35. Am I being daft? Nope. Lots of people are going to do that. Why do you not go for Senesi for Stroud? I've got Senesi already. If you're wildcard in 33, do you think João Pedro is a good pick? For 33, yes. But I wouldn't buy him this week. You can go to João Pedro by Gross and Calvert-Lewin to João Pedro and Hinchelwood. Yeah, sure, but then I won't have Gross or Calvert-Lewin. Can't afford Gabriel, got Hill instead. Is there anyone better? I would just go for the double game weeker. Like, the only reason to keep Gabriel as a single game week is because of how good he is. If you can't have him, just get a double game weeker. Is Haaland a tempting differential captain after recent goals? Not over Fernandes for me. What about True Fairs? He plays 90 minutes almost every game. He's got great form. Yeah, but I think I would just go for the DEFCON guys in Hill and Senesi. If team value is an issue, would you downgrade Senesi to Hill or Gross to Hinchelwood? Senesi to Hill. Would you go Hinchelwood to Gross over Gross on wildcard if it gives you enough money to move Thiago to João Pedro in 33? Or would you downgrade elsewhere? It depends what the other downgrades are, but that's probably a perfectly reasonable one. Amadou worth considering with DC? Yes, if you're stuck for cash, yeah. Is there any way you can check if others in your league have used their chips, or are you blind? You can go to Game Week history, I think, and it shows it there. Wants a free hit 33, wildcard 35. I like my team this week, and it's good enough in 34. Is the bench boost worth it in 33 over 36? I mean, that's the question, right? I don't know if there's anything else I can say on it than I've already mentioned all week, really. My Game Week 32 team was also okay, and it would have also been okay in 34 with just one transfer. But I still opted to wildcard this week to get the bench boost done. You can go either way. They're both good strategies. Why'd you have Gabriel on wildcard? He's just one of the best defenders in the game. Good fixture this week. Pretty good 35 to 38 as well. Look, if Arsenal if Arsenal beat City and they get the league wrapped up by game week 35, then I wish I would have just gone for Hill over Gabriel. But if they don't, then he's pretty good. If you don't use it now, when do you use the wild card? Have you ever gone through a season and not wild carded? No. I mean, you can use it 33. You could use it 35. They're probably the two main weeks after this one. I did not hear any advice for people that have only wildcard left. Yeah, we talked about it quite a bit. You'd have to use it after the double, basically. 34 probably. Are you moving Gabriel to Hill next week or bench boost to Gabriel? I'll probably keep him, but honestly, I'll just decide next week. There's no need to decide now. I'm starting Tavernier over Calvert-Lewin. Am I missing something? Well, Calvert-Lewin's got the easier fixture, right? That's why I'm starting him. And Calvert-Lewin, I think, is pretty much guaranteed penalties. Tavernier, maybe not because of Krupi. Double Leeds or Bournemouth defence for 33. I think I would have to say, if you're choosing right now, I'd have to say Bournemouth because I'd be confident in Hill and Senesi. I'd be less confident in picking two Leeds defenders. What makes you pick Calvert-Lewin over Welbeck? Better fixtures in 33, better minutes in my opinion in 33, better fixture in 35. Thiago to João Pedro and Gabriel to Saliba on wildcard. I just, if you're not going to go for Gabriel, I just wouldn't pick another single game weeker. Thiago to João Pedro, yes. I'm on wildcard with 4 free transfers chasing by 30 points. How much do I gamble on 32? Gabriel, Bowen, anyone else? You could go for a Man United midfielder. But I don't think it's that interesting, to be honest. If wildcarding in 33, would you bring in Bowen or Haaland for Ekitike this week? Probably Haaland. Thoughts on starting Dewsbury Hall and Rodgers over Dango? I would just start. Is Dango... I guess people are slightly worried that Dango won't start, but I think he probably does, so I would start him. Wow, your rank and you have picked Gross. Yeah, he might be rubbish. We'll have to wait and see. Bench boost and free hit left. Which weeks would you use each? Probably free hit 33 for most people. Bench boost when you've got a good bench. 35 might be okay. Do you actually think Gabriel will get a clean sheet against City next week? Probably not. Amelia says I've missed the super chat. Best 5.5 on wildcard, not Gross. How much is Tavernier? He's more, isn't he? Yeah, Tavernier, 5.4 million. I mean, Tavernier is better than Gross, to be honest. Pick Scott over Gross. Maybe. Is the only reason to wildcard this week because of the bench boost next week? I would say that's the primary reason, yeah. Thoughts on Cucurella over Gabriel? I did consider that earlier on in the week, but I just love Gabriel too much. How come you've gone Thiago over João Pedro? I will pretty much be buying João Pedro in about 30 minutes. Gross is rogue, but I respect the punt. I don't think he's that rogue, really. He's nailed on. He's got a double next week. Start one of Tavernier or Senesi versus Arsenal. Tavernier. Bench 1, Ekitike, Sade, Rodgers. Ekitike, probably. No one asked about Calvert-Lewin versus Welbeck for over an hour. I don't think that's true, but Calvert-Lewin, better fixtures 33, better fixtures 35, and better minutes, in my opinion. That's why I'm going to go for him. They do have an FA Cup semi-final, so maybe that will affect him a little bit, but hopefully not, because they've got to try and not get relegated. Cunha or Gordon as differential for this week? I mean, Cunha probably for this week. Yeah. Aronson or Tavernier? Tavernier. If you had an extra 2.2 million, what upgrades would you do? I would just bank it. Genuinely. What are the upgrades? Because I want double game weekers mostly. Thoughts on Dubravka and Darlow as keepers? I've Bruggen and Darlow just rotate quite nicely. So, I mean, it's fine going Dubravka if you want to save some money, but ideally I wouldn't do it. Start 2, Rodgers, Wilson, Ekatike. I'd probably bench Wilson out of those, I think. If not a Brighton or Man City midfielder, which double game week would you pick? Have Tavernier already? Scott, maybe? Well, actually, sorry, Palmer. Not Brighton, not Man City, Palmer. Why Striker said Hill? Better fixtures 33, better fixtures 35. Hill might end up being better for what it's worth. And maybe I should go all in on the Bournemouth defence, but yeah. Did I wildcard? Yes. Yes, I did. Who first bench, Calvert-Lewin or Chow? Calvert-Lewin. You're a superstar. Does Calvert-Lewin's minutes concern you? Not really. Why don't you go Thiago and João Pedro this week and do Thiago to Calvert-Lewin next week? I can't afford it. Okay, the same double game week midfielder question, but you've already got Palmer. Not Brighton, not Man City. So it's got to be Bournemouth or Leeds. Probably Scott or Rayan. I didn't know about team value. I lost all my team value in Gabriel and Bruno Fernandes. Is that a big problem? Not if you can still afford the team you want. Missing 0.7 million team value for that wildcard. Any suggestions on who to drop? Gabriel, probably. If you don't want to drop Gabriel, it gets a bit trickier, to be honest. Senesi to Hill, actually. Reckon any chance Minte starts twice in the double? There's a chance, but I probably wouldn't put too much money on it. Don't have budget for Fernandes. Who would you have instead? I mean, honestly, it's quite tricky. I'd probably go for a Bournemouth midfielder. Rayan or Scott, I think. Or Gordon, actually. I do quite like Gordon. Probably Gordon. Points prediction for Bowen tonight. I think he'll get 4 because he'll hit DEFCON. Bench 1, Dango, Harry Wilson, João Pedro. Harry Wilson, Woodgate or Pedro? Woodgate. Mitoma or Minte over Gross? Mitoma. No wildcard, 4 free transfers, decent to 32. Any advice long term? Yeah. If you got free hit, I'd probably free hit 33. You tried to get to this squad and was 2 million short. Wow. I mean, I did get back on Gabriel a bit quicker than a lot of other people when he came back from injury. I've had Fernandes all season. Senesi I got at 4.6 million. But like Senesi to Hill is such an obvious downgrade, so I wouldn't worry too much. Why not Bowen this week, Calvert-Lewin next week? I don't think I can afford it. But yes, you could do that. I've got 2 free transfers, so I could take a 1-week punt, but I'm gonna save it just in case something happens before. I want to make sure the bench boost is good. So I want to save my transfers just in case there's something to do next week. And rolling's never that bad. Why no Minte, Hinshelwood, Evan Nielsen, and Gusto over Cucurella? I don't have Cucurella. I just don't trust Gusto to stay fit. Yeah, you could go over Nielsen, but I don't think he's better than Calvert-Lewin or João Pedro, probably, especially minutes-wise. Hinshelwood, again, I don't think he's completely nailed, like 100% nailed. And Minte, same thing. Dango versus Rodgers, I played Dango. Will you be doing a free hit video for Game Week 33? I mean, I'll include it somewhere. I don't know if it'll be a separate video. Best defenders for Game Week 32 and 34 on free hit 33. Arsenal and Liverpool, probably. If you have 1.9 million extra, who would you upgrade? Again, I don't think there are many upgrades, to be honest. Would you do Senesi to Hill to afford Calvert-Lewin to João Pedro? No, I'd probably prefer Calvert-Lewin. Do Thiago to Calvert-Lewin 33. Yeah, you could do that if you got the transfers for it. If you have 3 free transfers and are on wildcard 32 bench, do you keep Gabriel and change him in 33 to get him back? 3 free transfers is kind of, you could go either way. If you really want him back, I'd probably just hold him, to be honest, even with 3 free transfers. Can you summarise why you went wildcard 32, not 35? Bench boost. Not including the defender you've got plus Hill. Who's good replacements for Kukurea? Gay? Gross alternatives so that Welbeck can come into that team. Probably Scott. Or Rayan. Wife is wildcarding. I'm not. I can already see it going wrong. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, because I'm wildcarding too. But good luck. Honestly, I think there's a lot of strategies at the moment. I think they're all fine for the most part. The main ones, anyway. Want to keep Cunha, buy Semenyo first or Palmer. Wildcard 32, bench boost 33. I'd rather have Palmer than Semenyo this week. No wildcard this week. Transfer Wilson to Gross or roll. Why not keep Thiago and move to João Pedro next week? I just don't want to use the transfer, basically. The timer's not wrong. Not at least now. Would you use AI to read out questions to save your throat and voice? No. No. Let's use less AI, not more. Let's assume you're winning FPL this season. Will you lose interest in playing it anymore? Hell no. Hell no. Honestly, right, okay. Let's just pretend... Let's just pretend I've won FPL, and this is game week 32 of the 2026-27 season. And someone says to me, why are you picking Gross over Mitoma? I want FPL. I want FPL. You don't know what you do. I want FPL. Why are you doing it? I want FPL. I just, like, for people that are old like me, I'd be like Frank LeBeouf on They Think It's All Over, when he just sat there and said, I won the World Cup. I won the World Cup. Why are you wildcarding in game week 32, you idiot? I want FPL. Next. There you go. The Frank LeBeouf move. So there you go. That's what you can expect if I win FPL. So no, would I find it boring? Hell no. I just sit here and tell you I want FPL all the time. In fact, maybe I wouldn't ask questions. No, sorry, I would answer questions, but anytime someone says, why are you doing this over this, I would just say, one FPL, you know, one FPL. Next. Anyway, I've not won FPL, so I guess I've got to keep going. Hope all as well. Thoughts on triple up on Man City attack? I don't mind it, but the problem is, right, it's always a knock-on. So which midfielder do you take out? I think most people would be happy taking out Gross for Cherky, but then you've got to switch Haaland or O'Reilly. And they're both really good. So I don't mind triple City attack. I just don't like taking out the other players. On wildcard, Truffert or Van Heck? Van Heck. On that note, Calvert-Lewin, O'Reilly and Tavernier, good alternatives. Welbeck instead of Calvert-Lewin. I guess Gay instead of O'Reilly, but that feels rubbish, to be honest. And Tavernier, not in Bournemouth, in my opinion. He is the best. Wildcard 32, get Evan Nilsson to enable keeping the value I have tied up in Gabriel, or get João Pedro and downgrade to Saliba. Oh, that's so close. I guess get Evan Nilsson. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's my gut instinct. Why not Truffert over Strout? I would just go Hill if I was going to get rid of Strout, but Leeds got better fixtures in 33 and 35. Welbeck rather than Thiago. Yes, I would prefer Welbeck. I'm going to go for João Pedro, I think. My timer's not wrong anymore. The deadline is in 22 minutes. Would you distribute the cash prize amongst your viewers? There is no cash prize for FPL. You literally won the cup in 2023-24. Very nice. It's not the same as winning FPL, is it, though? Winning the proper game. I mean, fair play to you. Absolutely. Don't want to belittle it, but it's not the same as winning the proper game. Imagine if you won the proper game as well. Then you could say you're a double champion. Now that would be pretty cool. Versus Semenyo 32 or 33. 33, I think. Bench boost Anthony, Enzo, Matoma. Yeah, not bad. I mean, yeah, you're not going to probably get a better bench than that. Why Thiago over João Pedro? I'm going to have João Pedro by the deadline. No wildcard this week. Rice or Cunha for Enzo. Cunha, wildcard. No Gabriel. Saliba, double Bournemouth or Chelsea defence. Double Bournemouth. I free hit 33. Ekitike to Bowen or Tavernier to Gakpo and Burmo. Ekitike to Bowen. Why Gabriel over here when you spoke about EO? Gabriel's just really good. Basically. Griffith, what is your team value? Not sure. Mine is 101.2. I'm thinking Anderson and Gordon instead of Palmer and Tavernier as I can't afford it. You must, like, I know my team value is pretty good, but Palmer must, surely Palmer's okay. Like, just drop Gabriel, no? To get Palmer, in my opinion. I'd rather drop Gabriel than have Anderson and Gordon over Palmer and Tavernier. Bowen or Gyökeres to buy with no wildcard. Bowen, are you saving transfers for Salah's last game? Probably not. I mean, if I've got transfers, maybe I'd go for him, but we'll see. Scott and Gabriel or Hill and Gordon? Scott and Gabriel. Senesi to Hill or Gross to Hinchelwood to afford João Pedro? Senesi to Hill. Honestly, I'm slightly tempted just to go for Hill. Even though I can afford this team already. Because you never know. Win FPL or finish second and win the cup. Win FPL by a mile. Honestly, I don't want to keep saying it because the guy just said he's won the cup, but I don't care about winning the cup, honestly. Like, not even slightly. It's just rubbish. So win FPL by an absolute mile. Like, if coming second and winning the cup was here, winning FPL would be off the screen. Like, it's not even close. The cup is just rubbish. The time is not wrong. Stop saying the time is wrong. I haven't got my watch on. Am I worried that if Leeds get to the FA Cup final, you might not have a keeper for Game Week 37? The game will probably just remain in Game Week 37, to be honest. So, not that worried. Win FPL or England win the World Cup? Oof. Oh, I don't want to answer that. I'd have to think. I mean, it should be England, shouldn't it? The thing is, when you do FPL as your job, winning FPL is kind of handy. And I would like to do this. Like, winning FPL probably means I can do this job for even longer than currently planned, you know? Oh my God, I'd love to see England win a trophy, honestly. Maybe this year, probably not. Start Livramento, Cash or Hill. Probably Cash, I think. Forest away, right? Livramento is away to... Probably Cash, yeah. Start one this week, Senesi or Anderson. Anderson, I guess. Start two, Saliba, Dango, Wilson. I'd bench Wilson. Thoughts on 3 Man City attack and 3 Brighton defence? Yeah, don't mind that. And it's quite a nice differential as well. I just think O'Reilly's a really good pick. Why Thiago, do you plan on... I'm going to have João Pedro by the deadline. Gabriel or Cucurella on wildcard. I'm going Gabriel. Don't hate Cucurella, but I'm going Gabriel. How long am I currently planning to do this job? As long as people keep watching, really. Who knows how long that will be. It's not going to last forever, obviously, but... I don't know what my contingency plan is when this goes to pot, but obviously I'd have to get another job, but I don't know what that would be. Yeah, let's hope another season at least. Let's hope another season at least. If you opted for Welbeck, who would you replace, Gross or Van Heck? Probably Gross, and probably for Scott, I think. Probably. What to do? I've got wildcard 32 as you suggest, and I do not have free hit. Ooh, well, I wouldn't wildcard 32. Yeah, if you've already hit the button, you're in big trouble, basically. So either you go for fewer double game week players now, or you take a lot of hits in 34. Or yeah, that's the only option. You got 1+ million. Who would you upgrade in your team? No one. All 3 chips remaining. Is that, like, people keep saying that? Who are the upgrades? Help me out here. Where am I spending that money? All 3 chips remaining. Is the play wildcard? Yes. Also, my 3 strikers are Cavalier and Haaland Bowen. Should I take a hit to get Palmer and João Pedro? Well, I'm confused. You're on wildcard, so why do you need to take a hit? I'm missing something there. But yeah, I don't really. True, the 50 grand stream probably means I couldn't retire, but maybe I wouldn't have to get a job straight away. 50k a stream. If I do a few more streams, might be okay. Yeah, good point. Didn't think of that. That's why I won't get a job, because I'm just stupid. Pick one for this week. Richards, Juve, Mukiele, Yor. I'm going to say Juve. On wildcard, unsure whether to include Gabriel. We'll have 4 free transfers next week, but like the sound of having 5 in 35. Well, in that case, keep Gabriel probably, because you want him later, right? Want to keep one Arsenal, one Leeds, Gabriel and Aronson, or Strauch and Rice, or just keep Gabriel and Rice? I'm not convinced by Aronson, so probably Gabriel and Rice. Are you planning to transfer Thiago and Gabriel next week? No plans to make any transfers next week. Could transfers happen? Yes, and I probably won't have Thiago in about 12 minutes. Play Ekitike or Wilson, or bring in Bowen. Play Ekitike or Wilson. Ekitike. Oh, do you know, if you got the transfer, I like bringing Bowen in. I'd love to see a chip that allows you to exchange one player from the bench at the end of a game week. Yeah, sure. Ekitike for Bowen, or roll for Haaland. No wildcard, free hit in 33. I would get Bowen, yeah. I think that's quite nice. Wildcard, low funds, and need Gabriel out. Can only afford double up Brighton defence. Still worth it. Yeah, I would just get Hill and Senesi from Bournemouth, right? Matoma over Gross, is it too much of a risk? That depends on your... Like, Matoma's probably fine, so I don't think it's a huge risk. I meant to take a hit game week 34 while I'm... I meant to take a hit game week 34 while I'm bench boost. A hit to get Palmer and Jab... I'm so confused, but you said you're free hit... You said you're bench boosting 33, free hit 34. So I'm... Just start with the players you want. You don't have to take a hit. I know it's kind of what you do, but just wanted to appreciate the efforts and consistency watching you for 5 years. Wow. Thank you very much for watching. Not enough for Strauch. How about James Justin? Bit of a risk. Do you know what? I would probably go Goodmanson and risk it for 33. If you could only have one of João Pedro or Palmer, who would it be? Again, Palmer by an absolute mile. Think Esteban might be worth a hit? Nope. Not at all, really. Would you bench boost to Bravka, Wilson, Chow, Reinildo? Ideally not, but it depends what your other chips are, how easily it's going to be to get a better bench, etc. On wildcard, Enzo or Gross? I'm going to go Gross. I could go Enzo, but I'm going to go for Gross. Strand Larsen's going to be on fire for the rest of the game weeks. When he's on the pitch, because Mateta's there. Why is Justin a risk? He's been nailed. But been nailed doesn't mean continue to be nailed, right? You would benefit if Thiago scores compared to João Pedro. I mean, I'd still benefit if I had João Pedro and he scored, right? Be better than not owning him. Hinchelwood's stats better than Gross. I don't think so. He's got slightly better goal threat, though. Kukurea or Senesi for the double game week. Senesi. Also, Welbeck or Bowen. Bowen this week, but Welbeck's better for this week and next week combined. Do you plan to sell? Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do in game week 33 yet. I'm probably going to roll, but let's see. I do like the idea of selling Gabriel, but then it's buying him back, isn't it? Enzo's banned for... Enzo's not playing game week 32, but it'll be available 33. No wildcard. Calvert-Lewin to Haaland. Sell who? Ideally, you don't sell Calvert-Lewin for Haaland, but if that's your only way to get Haaland, yeah. Sell who? Van Dijk, Igor, Mbeumo, Gabriel need 0.9. Probably Mbeumo, but do it next week. Ideally. No, actually, I would sell Van Dijk. If you've got to sell him this week, I'd probably sell Van Dijk. Do you think Esteban worth a punt? No, the minutes are just not good enough. What about Sarr instead of Gross? Yes, you could do that. Saves a transfer later on. Why Gross over Minte Matoma? I'm just a bit more confident in the minutes. Maybe penalty, odd penalty here or there. You never know. Probably not. Start Senesi or Strauch. Senesi probably, especially if you've got Fernandez captain. Welbeck or Fernandez captain. Fernandez by a mile. Why don't you pick João Pedro? I probably will in about 9-10 minutes. I like Bowen and Bruno this week. Take a -4 hit for 33 to get João Pedro and Palmer while I'm on my bench boost next week. No. You're on wildcard. There's no... I don't think you can justify hits, in my opinion. 5-year US subscriber. Thank you very much for watching all this time. It's actually my 10-year anniversary making videos this year, December 30th. I should do something for that. But you know what? I know I won't. I'll get to the 30th of December. I'll do a stream. I'll be like, all right, thanks. I guess now we carry on and try and get to 20 years or something. Same position as you, 2 free transfers. If I sell Gabriel in 33, how many free transfers will I have in 35? 2. Yeah. And how many would I have? No, wait. Oh, God. So you got 2 in 33. You don't use one. You got 3 in 34, but you free hit. So you'd have, I think 3. 3 if you don't, 2 if you do. Because you will get... No, because you free hit, so you don't gain one. I'm so confused now. I think it's 2 and 3. It's 2 if you don't do the transfer. So if you do Gabriel out, and then you free hit in 34, yeah, you'll still have 2. You'll still have 2. Because you'll... Yeah. I'm confusing myself. 2 and 3, basically. Have you addressed the Penguin onesie guy? No, not yet. I had Mkhitaryan in my first stream, really. The site's down. Oh, God, that's a good point, actually. Someone always says that, though, and it's never actually down. Keep Harry Wilson or Dango. Bench 1, Ekitike, Wilson or Dewsbury Hall. Probably... Hang on, who have Everton got? Brentford away. I'm going to say Wilson. No wildcard, but I have 3 free transfers. Will free hit the double. Ekitike to Bowen now or roll. I do Ekitike to Bowen. Calvert-Lewin or Welbeck. I'm going to say Calvert-Lewin. Keep Gibbs-White or Wilson. Gibbs-White. I mean, when you say keep, right, I'd rather play Gibbs-White this week, but I quite like Wilson for 34. Kelleher, Dubravka, Van Dijk, Hill, Gabriel. Okay. No wildcard, got free hit, 2 free transfers. Well, what moves are you thinking about making? I on the deadline, well, in any video and deadline sheet, I don't tend to go through people's teams and work their transfers out for them. You've got to help me out a bit. There's not enough time on a deadline stream to work out your transfer strategy. I will say if you've got free hit with no wildcard, you'll probably free hit 33. So you can maybe roll and then just save the rest of your chances for later if the team's looking okay this week. Wildcard, 1 free transfer, Bowen and João Pedro next week or João Pedro now. João Pedro now, I think. Chow or O'Reilly. I think O'Reilly. 1 to play, Krupi, Gay, Hill, Caicedo. Ooh. Caicedo, probably. Tell me Leeds will stay in the Premier League despite injuries. Probably will, yeah. Pictures are quite good. Endor, Tavernier. You skip my super chat, I'd appreciate it. Okay, I'll have a look in a second. Play Anderson or Gross. Gross. What about Gusto? I just don't trust him to stay fit, but he's probably okay while James is injured. Is Truefair a good pick? Yes, but I don't think he's better than Hill or Senesi. Where is this super chat I missed? Oh my God, it must be miles up. Oh, thoughts on 3 Man City attacking 3? I didn't miss that one. It's fine if you want to go differential. Is Hinchelwood's birthday tomorrow? Pick him. Nope. Tavernier or Ampadu? Tavernier. Less than 10 minutes, by the way. Start getting your teams locked in. Ampadu's fine, I think, for the price. Should we be worried about Senesi being on 8 yellow cards? He's got to get to 15 yellow cards now for the suspension to kick in, so I wouldn't worry all that much. Bench rankings. I'm not going to update the bench rankings now. We've got 8 minutes left of a big game week. Wilson or Ekitike? I'd risk Ekitike, I think. I can't do Palmer. Got João Pedro instead of Calvert-Lewin, and Gabriel is a bonus points monster. Palmer hasn't been that good. Fair enough. Sell both for Palmer to who? Well, I would just do João Pedro back to Calvert-Lewin and sell Gabriel to a double game weeker. But if you don't want Palmer, it's fine. It's your team, right? Instead of Gross, would you get Sarr or Gordon? Gordon if I have to pick one, yeah. Yeah, probably Gordon. Sarr is quite nice, though, because of 36. If you had 4 free transfers, how aggressive would you be on 1 week punts? I'm pretty sure I would definitely go for Bowen or Thiago and then get João Pedro next week. I'm not sure if I would do any other moves, though. I'm on wildcard 32 and free hit. I mean, I would leave my options open for Gabriel, I guess. I'm on wildcard 32, free hit 34, and you don't get a transfer while free hitting. So I'll have 2 free transfers for 35. Well, I don't know how many you've got now. But yes, essentially, you don't gain one the week you. My wife's trying to call me. You have to tell her I've declined her call. I've just hung up on her, basically. I really should have picked up and found out. I've just hung up on her. I really should have picked up and just checked that she was okay. I think she's just checking in. But I should have really answered the call and checked she was all right. I'm checking now because I'm panicking a little bit. Okay, she was just saying hi. Phew. I can call in about 20 minutes. Yeah, I probably should have picked up. Anyway, it's done now. She's fine. We're all good. Look, it's a big deadline. It's a big deadline. It's game week 32. I'm on wildcard. I've got to make it count. I haven't got time for phone calls. Okay, where did I go? Oh my god. Okay, don't put any more super chats in now because you know what's going to happen. I'm going to get lost. Thoughts on what to do with no free hit? Wildcard after the double. Try and get as many double game weekers in as you can. Maybe take a few hits. Play Rogers or Sar. Sar. Cash or Chow. Cash. Can't get Senesi. I've got Hill, Truefair, or Strauk. I'm going to say Strauk. Same strategy as you. 5 free transfers. Would I have enough free transfers by 36 to do Gabriel out and back in? And 3 Palace. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, obviously injuries and stuff can happen, but in theory you can do. If you can afford it, yes. I think it's worth it. 0.2 in the bank. Is it risky to go Bowen since João Pedro? Not sure what you mean about risky, to be honest. Like, is in you're going to get priced out? Probably not, but you might get forced into an early transfer. But I wouldn't. You're probably fine. Sell Ekatike to Haaland or Bowen. Haaland, I think. Bowen instead of João Pedro and then João Pedro in 33. Yes, if you've got the spare transfers to do it. Am I watching the West Ham game? Maybe. There's part of me. The thing is, right, this is really bad. This is why FPL is not healthy for you. I could watch it, but I'm going to be super annoyed if Bowen scores. Because there is a slight temptation to go for him and then move on. I'm probably not going to do it, but... And outside of Bowen, there's not that much interest in that game. I don't know. I might watch a film instead. I'll see. Andy's dinner being put in the bin. Well, I'm cooking dinner, so it should be good. I'm not a West Ham fan, no. I mean, if I was a West Ham fan, I'd obviously watch. Watch Galway United instead. Yeah, maybe. You seem in an awesome mood. Yeah. I don't know. Normal mood. The funny thing is, I'll be like this and someone else will say, what's wrong? You seem in a bad mood today. So your transfer is going to crash soon. Yeah, I'm going to do my transfers. Good point. I'm just going to start with João Pedro. I'm not happy about this, though. There's something about João Pedro I just don't like. I don't think I've owned João Pedro all season, by the way. It's so boring, but as well, not using either of my free transfers on a 1 week punt. My 2 free transfers kind of sucks a little bit. I've not been affected by the fuel shortage yet. I've actually got an EV, so it's electric. So I was in a really bad position with the storm because our electric went out and I couldn't charge the car. But now it's a better position. But obviously oil and stuff's gone up loads. So yeah, let's hope it all gets resolved soon. Your punt is Calvert-Lewin and Gross. My punt is Welbeck and Neto. Nice. Good luck. Good luck. I've made my transfer, by the way. I've made it. Good luck, non-wildcarders. No, I can't say that, I'm afraid. I've wildcarded. Wildcard active. Make sure you've activated your wildcard, by the way, because you do not want like a minus 56 point hit. That's me. I think I'm locked in. I actually feel kind of calm about this wildcard now. Mostly because I can't reverse it. You know? It's done. It's done. Don't get bench boost and not wildcard this week. Gonna do free hit 33, wildcard 34. Yeah, sounds fine. I'd be tempted to wildcard 35, but let's see. Anything on Somerville, he's probably too much of a risk, I would say. He's getting better, I think, but not a guarantee. Show your team. It's on screen. On wildcard 32, 1 free transfer, keep Gabriel. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm on 2. Oh, God. Thiago or Bowen are going to go nuts, aren't they? João Pedro's going to blank because he's rubbish. Been a mistake backing Chelsea. Well, hopefully this is the turning point. Although, hopefully not enough of them to get top 5. We're all locking in the exact same team. Well, no, not everyone's wildcarding this week. I just need to double check, right? So, have I saved the team? Yes. Is the wildcard active? Yes. Am I captaining Bruno? Yes. Have I got my vice captain on Haaland? Yes. Bench order's correct. I'm locked in. I am absolutely 100% locked. And I need to cough again. I haven't had like a detailed look at wildcard 34. I suspect it could work. But probably less so if you... No, it probably could work. Favorite film? I'm so bad with this stuff. I don't really have a favorite film. Like the films I've watched the most times, probably Matrix first film, Goodfellas, and The Last Samurai. Randomly, I've watched The Last Samurai so many times. Start Kukurea, Strauk, or Hill. Kukurea. Are you going to make a free hit team before price changes? I'm not going to make a free hit team tonight. No. Alice in the Borderland is the best series on Netflix. Okay. Got to be annoying doing these streams knowing you're tipping off your rivals to your moves. It is what it is. Oh, there's the deadline, by the way. We are locked in. Are we ignoring the fact Tavernier didn't take the last penalty? But he's still the best midfielder from Bournemouth. That's the thing. So it doesn't really matter. And also, the penalty before that, Tavernier took over Kroupy. Yeah, Shawshank I've seen quite a lot. Wolf of Wall Street, that was fine. I don't think I'd ever go back and watch it again, though. The perfect game week is a rare thing. You could spend your life looking for one. It would not be a wasted life. Nice. On your strategy, what is your early opinion on Game Week 35 wild keeper choice? Well, I just played Darlow, right? I don't know. There's something about The Last Samurai I love. I don't know why. Yeah, A Few Good Men's good, yeah. Favorite TV series? Sitcom, Only Fools and Horses. I also love The Office as well. UK. I did start watching the US one again. I've not ever really watched the US one properly. My son did go for a stage of watching it, so I've seen quite a bit of it, but I've never like sat there properly and watched it. I did have it on in the background over there. I must admit, I probably should give it another chance. Right, we're locked in. I've wildcarded into a terrible team. I'm going to end up finishing outside the top 100k. Everyone's going to say I told you so. What are you doing, you idiot? You wildcarded into this terrible team. Why are you bench boosting with Gabriel Fernandes, you idiot? Come on. Have I watched Suits? Yes, but not... I think there was some... I think I watched it all while it was on Netflix before they added like the last 1 or 2 series, so I've not seen them. I probably won't go back and watch them, to be honest. Can you justify Ekitike most sold player? Maybe minutes are quite reduced because of the PSG game. Like he might not start. It's a possibility. Thoughts on Ted Lasso movie? Are they making one? Do I watch cricket? Not that often. I hope you win FPL so you can say I won FPL. I just sit here. Yeah, that will be all I say. I'll actually be no use to you after I win FPL. Or if I win FPL. I'm not actually going to win FPL. Would you consider writing an FPL movie? Probably not. Right. Your oldest video on YouTube is from January 8th, 2017. Yeah, but I don't just do videos. Don't just do videos. Show your team. Yeah, I know. Like, I don't know if people have got like they refresh and they can't see the screen or something. But yeah, it's on the screen. Sopranos, maybe. It's a big commitment though, right? I go through I just go through phases where like one day I just decide, right, now I'm watching TV shows and that's what I'll do with my spare time in the evening. But like tonight I just probably won't do that. I might just play games or something instead. Why are you not posting on the Andy channel? I just don't know what to post, to be honest. How's the WoW grind? I've not really played for 2 weeks. Since Mythic Plus came out, I've not really played. I know people think I can never switch off from FPL, but I properly switched off the first week or so. I went to England. I went to Ashbury Manor down near Exeter way, Oakhampton actually, for a couple of days. That was good. And then I went to London. Now I've decided I want to move to London. And then, so I've not been playing WoW basically. Just post anything, but you can't just post anything. You got to post something, right? Oh, here's Seb. He can tell me about moving to London. That's it now. That's my current obsession. Can I afford to move to London? Where do I live? Closest I've come to missing a deadline in a while. World record 4 minutes wildcard. Nice template on toast with the timer chaser. I like it. I like it. Project Hail Mary is a must-watch 5-star movie. Okay. Move to just outside. Well, I definitely couldn't afford to live in central London, that's for sure. Why do you want to move to London? I don't know. There's just so much to do there, right? I don't know. The thing is, you don't want to romanticize places too much. Like I've only gone for a couple of days, right? And it's different because I was on holiday technically, right? I'm not working or anything. So it's a bit different, right? It's when you go on holiday to a sunny place. You're like, I could just live here, but it's not the same as when you're on holiday. But I don't know. I just maybe I'm ready for a little bit of time, a bit busier. Do you love life in the UK? I've not lived in the UK for 14 years. Come to Hertfordshire, we can play golf. Do you know what? I actually Googled the other day about golf lessons in Galway. Maybe I should give it a go. But I've just not played. I've only ever done pitch and putt when I was like 18. So like it just feels like the kind of game, like how'd you get into it, you know? Paris is better than London. I don't speak French though. No, Galway's great. Galway is great. We just we went to this Ashbury Manor. I went with all my mates from like school, like mates I've known for like nearly, I don't know, 30 plus years, some of them like 20 years. And it was great. And so now I want to be in England, so I'm closer. We can do that stuff more often. Man, we played football, basketball, we did some shooting, pickleball. It was great. Do a meetup and you can write off the trip as a business expense. True. That is true. Don't listen to those saying don't move to London. London is great. Big adjustment. Yeah, I don't know if it'd be a bit too much of a culture shock for me. I just think London's just a really cool place, I think. Just really cool. I do love Galway, though, as well. It's obviously a big difference, right? London's huge. What do you think of the food? I actually thought the food at Ashbury Manor was pretty good. Like, considering the price we paid, I was actually pretty impressed. Yeah, quite liked it. Oh, yeah, we played adventure golf there as well. Loads of stuff. One thing for sure, I cannot shoot basketballs at all. With 50k a stream, you could just rent a private jet to travel to London on weekends. Yeah, true. Did I grow up in Devon? I grew up in sunny Weston-super-Mare. Dublin over London. Interesting, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Golf and basketball lessons soon. That was the first time I played football at Ashbury Manor for so long. Man, I wish I'd carried on playing football after college. Or actually, like during college, because I kind of just gave it up when I was like 16. What am I drinking? Water. What country have I been living in? Ireland. Am I still in last fan standing? I don't think I ever signed up Bath over London. Yeah, Bath is quite nice. Yeah, I never signed up to Last Fan Standing, unfortunately. What's Galway like compared to Dublin? The thing is, I've never lived in Dublin, so it's hard to compare. I mean, it's like any country, right? Dublin's a bigger city, so there's probably more going on in general, but it's also busier and more expensive. And it's a bit like comparing Bristol to London or something like that, I suppose. Similar-ish. What do you think about Portugal? I've never been, but my wife's been recently, and I suspect we'll be both going at some point. Can you watch all the Premier League games on Irish TV? No, they basically have a 3 p.m. kickoff on Saturday, but you don't get to pick. So this week it is, I think it's Brentford. Yeah, Brentford and Everton. Yeah, Manchester could be cool. Could be cool. I don't know. I'm like, the thing is, I'm thinking now, it might be nice to live in a big city for a while, but what if I hate it? Maybe that's something I should have done when I was younger. Best Galway pub to watch Game Week 38 matches. We'll be visiting there then. Honestly, I'm not really sure. Probably Pucon, but I don't really go out in Galway to watch matches, so I don't know these days. But Pucon's probably a safe bet on Pucon. That'd be a good few. King's Head probably shows them as well. Oslo, if you're in Salt Hill. Why not live on the outskirts of a city to travel to? Yeah. Look, there's loads of options. Anyway, we don't need to carry on talking about where I'm going to live in the future. Is Monroe's good? I've only ever been in there twice, I think, but yeah, pretty good. It's fairly popular. Yeah, I think when you ask questions like, is it true people in this country are just rude? You're just generalizing quite a lot, aren't you? Like, there's probably rude people in most countries. Puke on, name for a pub. Pucon. I'm probably not pronouncing it completely correct, but it's about that. I'm 54. Yeah, I'm 54. I would not trade Galway for London. Yeah, fair. The chances are I'll just stay in Galway, to be honest. I just went to London for a few days. I was like, I could just live here for a little while, and it'd be cool. Do you get recognised out and about where you live? Not really. I actually, there was so someone asked so when I flew back from London to Ireland, there was a rugby player that asked, there's a rugby team playing Connacht, and they flew over to Knock from London, same flight I was on. There was a guy on that team that asked for my photo. They lost as well. Go on, Connacht. You're not 54, roughly. Right. I think I'm off. Good luck, especially if you've wildcarded into the same team as me. I'm going to go and cook dinner. And I will see you on Sunday. I probably will stream, but it might be a bit tight for time. But I'd probably be okay to do it, I think. So yeah, I'll probably see you on the Knee Jerk stream on Sunday. And we're back now for FPL. There's a deadline every week now. No more breaks until the end of the season, when I'll have some time to travel to London. Anyway, I'm off. I should probably go and ring my wife. Catch you later. Enjoy the weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday.